shrunken heads. One of the most disturbing and fascinating collections that the Warrens have at their museum are their shrunken heads. Often used for voodoo rituals, they claim that many of these heads have been defiled by evil. Shrunken heads, for those of you who don't know, are severed human heads that have been prepared in a particular way to be used for rituals, trophies, or for trade purposes, often associated with the act of headhunting in regions of the world like the Amazon rainforest with various indigenous tribes. They're also used as a means of scaring off enemies. Which, yeah, totally understand how that works. Would not go anywhere near that. And at number 4, a vampire coffin. While vampires are often portrayed as sex symbols in movies and books, vampires in real life, if they do exist, are allegedly much more dangerous. I can imagine why. Inside the museum, the Warrens have a coffin that is said to have been used by a real-life modern-day vampire. On its front, there's a gothic design, and a photograph of Ed taken upon retrieving the coffin. So, what do you guys think? Is there a chance that vampires really exist? Or are they just a fantasy? There have been cases throughout history of humans drinking blood, claiming that the act is life-sustaining, but whether or not their anatomy is that of what a vampire is supposed to be is actually yet to be scientifically proven. Who knows? Maybe the Warrens have stumbled upon something interesting. And at 3, masks. The Warrens have a variety of strange and obscure masks in their collection from all over the globe, including parts of Africa. They've researched over 3,500 cases, so naturally they've come into contact with many a mask with nefarious origins. One mask was used as a topa for diabolical protection. There are voodoo masks accompanied by ritualistic objects. Others have been possessed, and when someone puts on the mask, they risk becoming possessed themselves. Other masks have previously been possessed and no longer are, but are kept at the museum for safekeeping. Typically, the Warrens keep objects that are still possessed or have risk of harming humans locked within glass cases. So fear not, friends. Although, safety first. Maybe don't try to put on one of their masks. I also imagine it would not smell good. And at number 2, psychic photographs. Psychic photographs, according to Ed Warren, are a fascinating phenomenon in which a camera manages to capture the electromagnetic energy of a spirit, capturing either just the energy source or the apparition which depicts the ghost's spirits. In other words, they're photographs that have ghosts in them. According to Ed, I quote, "The camera is an impartial witness. It takes a picture of what it sees. It's not something that's made up. There are many ways that pictures of ghosts can be taken." He goes on to say that a ghost can actually project its image onto the camera's film by thinking of what it looks like by projecting it telepathically. They bypass your physical eye and go into your mind's eye, or your third eye. Now, some of these photographs are defiled by evil according to the Warrens. They also have other photographs featured at the museum too, depicting heinous acts of Satanism. And for the most part, none of these photographs came in a time when Photoshop actually existed, so who knows? And finally, at number 1, children's tombstones. Outside of the Warren Museum, you can stamp a photo of yourself with a collection of tiny tombstones. Now, these tombstones, all of which previously belonged to deceased children, are said to have been used as satanic altars in various rituals. Now, throughout history, tombstones have been used as part of rituals in a practice that is often referred to as satanic ritual abuse, and was considered a subject of moral panic in the US during the 1980s that spread throughout parts of the world in the 90s. It was often associated with individuals who had dissociative identity disorder. It was also the focus of conspiracy theories in which SRA organizations, whose members were allegedly wealthy and powerful